back to Chat About That. I'm Bella.
I'm Malik.
And this is part 2 of our Orlando experience. So now we are going to go and talk about our experience at Disney. So we went to Disney World. We did Sunday and Monday. We did Animal Kingdom and Hollywood Studios on Sunday. And then Monday we did Epcot and Magic Kingdom. So in addition to attending the convention, we also went to Disney World. So the other people from the Armando Club, they got there earlier than we did. So they did one park each day. So I think they did Thursday, Friday, and then Sunday, Monday. But we wanted to do the con on Friday and everything. So, and then we wanted to go to the after hours event. So we did 2 parks per day. We did 2 days. We did Sunday and Monday. Now, I will say we definitely had fun, but you cannot do everything at Disney by doing a half day at the park. So we very meticulously, and by we I mean me, very meticulously planned what we wanted to do. Sunday we did Animal Kingdom in the morning. So Animal Kingdom opens an hour earlier than all the other parks. So that was also like a plus. So we got in at 8 o'clock, and we didn't rope drop it, which means rope dropping means you get there literally when the park opens and like they drop the rope, like back in the day they had like ropes and stuff. Well, actually, no, they do still have ropes. I did see a video online. They do actually have a rope. Remember the lady was like, don't run, don't push me out of the way or whatever. Anyway, so we got in, I think we got there around 8 o'clock. So by the time we walked in, like there, we didn't have to wait in like the check-in line or whatever, like the security. So we kind of just walked straight in. We got to ride Dinosaur, which if you know about Animal Kingdom, there used to be a giant section that was just dinosaur stuff. And they have a dinosaur ride, which I had never been on before. And I've been to Disney many times, and I had never been on dinosaur before. So basically, they're tearing down the entire section. They're going to change it to Encanto and Indiana Jones. I think they're calling it like South America. But yeah, they're gonna put like the Casita House from Encanto and stuff. But the dinosaur ride is still open for the entire year. So we got to ride it. That was the first thing we did in the morning. There was literally no line for it because we ran straight there. It's another pro tip: if you get to Disney early, just run to the ride that you want to go on, unless you have lightning lanes, which we did purchase lightning lane passes for both days, but we didn't use them at Animal Kingdom. We used them at Hollywood Studios that day. So but we ran to Dinosaur. There was like nobody on it. It was super fun. I mean, there were a couple people, but there was no line. It was such an awesome ride. It really did live up to my expectations, and I'm very excited to go back and ride it when we go in October. And we'll definitely ride it more times because that will be the last time we're able to ride it. But how was your dinosaur experience?
Oh, it was awesome. I mean, the last time I've been to Disney was 21 years ago, and that the dinosaur ride was one of the few things I really remembered. And I remember it being, dark and intense, and there's dinosaurs jumping out and everything. So it was really cool to go on it again. I'm glad it's lasting so we can go on it one more time in
Yeah,
October. But it was a hoot.
it was so much fun. We loved Dinosaur. Then we hopped over to the Expedition Everest ride. Now, when I went to Disney, I've been to Disney World 2 other times in my life. One when I was very young, and one time in high school. Both times I did not ride Expedition Everest. I think when I went when I was a child, I don't think it was open. And then when I went in high school, I didn't really ride that many rides on that trip. And I like don't really remember the trip much. Remember parts of it, but I didn't go on that ride. But I have wanted to go on that ride ever since it was built, because if you are a 90s 2000s child and you remember watching Disney Channel in the 2000s, they used to do these like they had these like little, they were kind of like, they were during the commercial breaks, but they were like these 2 people, it was like a boy and a girl, and they would do like behind the scenes stuff of either Disney parks or other upcoming Disney Channel movies or like big name Disney movies. And they would kind of do like behind the scenes. And one of the behind the scenes thing was for Expedition Everest. So I remember like watching these behind the scenes, and like I remember when it opened and everything. So I had always wanted to go on it, wasn't able to go on it in high school. And so we hopped over to that ride, and it blew me out of the water. It was better than I imagined. And I know it's an older ride by like Disney standards. It's kind of just like a typical roller coaster, but like, and I don't like roller coasters, but it doesn't go upside down. So I was like, okay, I can go on this one cuz it was fine. But I loved it so much. It really like just I kind of felt like a kid like going on it because I had wanted to go on this ride since I was a child, and it just like I don't know, I just really felt like the Disney magic like when I was on it. What did you think of Expedition Everest?
Oh, it was a good coaster, and it was long too. So it wasn't, you
It
wait
was a
in
long
line
ride.
and you go on a roller coaster. 30 seconds later, it's done. There's a whole kind of you're being chased by the Yeti. So I don't want to say story because I don't know if roller coasters really have a storyline, but it was long. It was really fun.
And the wait wasn't too bad. We did that one twice. So the first time we went, we all went in the regular line together, and the wait was maybe like 10 minutes or so. And then when we went on it later in the day, we did the single rider queue, and we waited maybe 15 minutes for it. So those rides do get more crowded. Like as the days go on, so we weren't able to ride dinosaur again because it got a lot more crowded. But yeah, definitely like hitting up the not like as popular rides like in the morning. Like if you're gonna go to Animal Kingdom, definitely hit up Everest or Dinosaur if you're doing Disney this year. Do those like right in the morning because they do get a little bit more crowded. Then we went over to the Avatar Land, which we didn't end up riding either of those rides because we didn't have Lightning Lane for um, Animal Kingdom, so it's kind of impossible to ride those rides without waiting like 5 hours. So we just walked around the Avatar land, to be honest. And Megan did preface that the kind of magic of the Avatar land really is in the rides and in the queue of the rides. So we did miss out on like basically half of this area. But I will say I was kind of disappointed in the Avatar land. I don't think it was as magical as I expected it to be. I really expected it to be like I don't know. I just had really big expectations for it, but I have heard that it's way cooler like at nighttime because like the plants light up. Because if you've seen the movie Avatar, this is the blue people Avatar, not Avatar the Last Airbender. um, like the plants are like magical and stuff because it's like an alien planet. So I have heard like at nighttime the stuff lights up. So maybe if we were there at nighttime, I would have thought it was cooler. But I was just honestly kind of disappointed in the area. But again, we didn't go on either of the rides, so my opinion will probably change later on. And then yeah, we got some food, we got some Dole Whips. Oh, we got that pancake sandwich.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that?
Oh yeah, it was kind of like their version of a McGriddle, where instead of the McGriddle has the biscuit that's full of the maple syrup, it was like a maple syrup pancake. And on the inside, it was like a little sausage patty and some
Mm.
eggs and like really light, mild cheese. It was good. It hit the
It
spot.
wasn't like
It was cheap.
cheesy though. That's why I didn't buy it. But I ate like half of half of his, and it had this like guava jam.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it was so good. And then we got a Dole Whip, but we got the pineapple Dole Whip with the pineapple juice in it. Like, oh my god, the food at Animal Kingdom is popping though. Like the food there is popping. And then the Avatar area has a restaurant that I do want to eat at. It kind of has more like tropical kind of
Ooh.
stuff. But yeah, the food when we go back in October, we're gonna be hitting up the food a lot. And then we didn't do the safari because that we didn't have lightning lane, so that would take forever. And then we wanted to go see the baby tiger, but if we went, we would the wait time was like an hour and a half, and we're like, yeah, we're on a time crunch, so we're not gonna see the baby tiger. So hopefully, when Megan goes back next month, she'll be able to go see the baby tiger. But yeah, that was Animal Kingdom. We had fun. Oh, we did the It's Tough to Be a Bug,
Yes.
which is inside of the Tree of Life, and I remember I'm sure if you went on this ride as a child, it's not even a ride. So you go inside of the Tree of Life because the Tree of Life is in Animal Kingdom. It's like the big thing there. So you go inside of the Tree of Life. You sit in a theater, and it is a 3D show. So when I was a child, my experience was much different, and same with Malik and Megan. Because Malik actually was on in a scooter because his feet were really hurting. He rented a scooter while we were there. So we were in like the disability section. So our experience was not the same as the people who were sitting in the main section. Because there's like a part where there's like it's kind of interactive. So like they put like a smoke bomb in front of you, and they like the little stingers poke you in the back from like your seat, and then they have like bugs are running across your feet, but it's like air and stuff. So none of that stuff was like really happening in like the disability section, which was kind of a bummer. But on the same time, we were kind of just like witnessing all the people like screaming in horror, because it literally traumatized me when I was a child. Like, what was your experience with that when you were a kid?
Oh, it freaked me out.
Yeah, I like literally could not watch 3D movies for like 10 years after that. Like, I do not, still to this day, I don't like 3D things because of that. And the 3D nowadays, it's shit.
It's old.
The 3D at the Bugs.
It's very cute. It's very
it's a
entertaining.
really it's a very cute show, but the 3D technology is terrible, and I'm like, why was I scared of this? But it was good back in the day. So at some point in the next year or so, they're getting rid of It's Tough to Be a Bug. They're not getting rid of the Tree of Life, but they're getting rid of the show, and they're changing it to a Zootopia show, which will be very cute because I love Zootopia. Oh, I have these little things. I have one of if you're watching the podcast, I have these little dolls from Disney, and I have Judy Hopps and Nick from Zootopia of the little dolls. But we have Mickey and Minnie right here. We also have some other things. If you're watching the podcast, you can see this. But if you're listening, we have little Mickey and Minnie doll. We also have a Loth Cat doll from Batu. And we have what is that saying?
Baby Nexu.
A Nexu from Star Wars as well. So that was our Animal Kingdom journey that we went on. And then we hopped on over to probably maybe my second favorite park, which is Hollywood Studios. So we were most excited for Hollywood Studios because we were actually also meeting up with a bunch of the Mandos at Hollywood Studios because they have Batu, Galaxy's Edge. I've been to Disneyland. I went in 2023, and I went to the Batu that's in Disneyland. So I had been to Galaxy's Edge before, just not the one in Florida. But Malik, this was his first time ever at Hollywood Studios, so he had my first visit pin. So yeah, if you go to Disney, to any of the parks, you can get free little buttons, and some of them say like my first visit or I'm celebrating or my birthday or whatever. So he had his little pin on, and so when the cast members are like the workers there, whenever they see them, they get like really excited because like, oh, it's your first time. So so we went to Hollywood Studios. I think the first ride we did was Star Tours. Mm-hmm. So Star Tours is a ride that's outside of Galaxy's Edge. It's a very old ride. It's at both parks. It's at Disneyland and Disney World. And it's basically I remember going this as a kid, and I went on it a few times when I went to Disneyland, but you're basically like on like a tour ship. Like it's immersive in the Star Wars world, and you're basically boarding a tour vessel, like a ship, that's going to take you to like a different planet. But the plot of the ride is that you get like hijacked or whatever, and then you go to a different planet and stuff. So it's like you sit in like a tiny little theater, but it's like a flight simulator almost. And then they have basically every time you go on the ride, the show that you're watching is different. So it's randomized. So we went on it twice, and we got different things that happened, and different characters are in it. And so they've added recently different scenes with Mando and Grogu. You can get Ahsoka, you can get Cassian Andor, you can get like other people. And so the one time when we were on it, we got Mando and Grogu, and I was freaking out.
That was the first time I went on it.
Yeah, this was his first time ever on Star Tours. And so
oh my God,
we got Mando and Grogu, and I was like slapping them. I was like, oh my God, it's Mando, Grogu. We were so excited. And then you go to like different planets. So like your ship like will travel through different planets. So you can go to we got Hoth. The second time we went on it, we got Kashyyyk. And I was kind of disappointed because when I went in October in 2023 to Disneyland, I also got Hoth and Kashyyyk. So you can get other planets. You can get Tatooine. You can get Coruscant. I think you can get Mustafar. You can get like you can get all kinds of different planets, but I've only ever gotten those two planets. And I think when I was a kid, I got Coruscant. I feel like I just have this memory of that, but I could be wrong. But yeah, so we got the Mando and Grogu message. We were very excited. And then we got did we get Jar Jar Binks planet? Was that when we got that?
Yeah.
Yeah, we went to like the Jar Jar Binks planet, and then the other time we went on it, we got Kashyyyk. Our message was from Admiral Akbar, which I wanted Ahsoka or Cassian, but I love Admiral Akbar. And then we went to like this sort of like, it wasn't Mustafar, but it was like a lava planet that had like Darth Vader and stuff. So definitely a lot of different things. So if you do Star Tours, and it's like never really crowded because people don't really care about it anymore because they have the other rides from Galaxy's Edge. But if you go on it, like if the wait is super short, just go on it like a couple of times because it's always a different experience.
And it's set up really cool. I mean, the whole interior is like neat to walk through, and they had like the moving droids, and even outside they had like an AT-AT, which was cool to look at. So
Yeah, and it's
definitely
so
worth it.
the queue is kind of like you're walking into like the Star Tours headquarters, and like you're boarding into like a ship. So it's all themed. It's really cool. Anyway, so I love that. And then I think we did Mickey and Minnie's Runaway
Mm.
Railway, which is my favorite. They also have that at Disneyland, so I had been on it before. And Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway is a newer ride. It's been around for a couple of years, but it's newer. The technology is definitely, I would say it's probably the best technology in the park outside of the Star Wars rides. And so it's a really cute. You do like a little pre-show, you see a little really cute movie, and then the ride is you start off kind of in like, a cart. You're in a cart with like three people, and then it's like, the carts are connected, and then you go into it, and then all of the carts break off, and the ride is trackless. So it's basically like pre-programmed to move the carts in different spots, but you're not on like a set track. So if you've never been on it before, you don't really know where you're going to end up. And then every room is different scenes, and you're traveling around with Mickey and Minnie and Pluto and Goofy and stuff, and it's just a cute ride. And I don't want to like spoil it for people who haven't been on it, but like it's just such a cool ride because it's really different than anything you've
Mhm.
ever seen. And I was hyping it up to Malik. So did it live up to your expectations?
Yeah, it did. And again, like you said, the technology being newer, I mean, it was really impressive. They did a really good job of it. It was very smooth. The trackless aspect was pretty crazy. I'd never been on a trackless ride before. And then, I mean, even some of the way they had like the animatronics and the screens and everything, and kind of projecting onto the animatronics was really cool. It had that kind of like 3D but still cartoony
Mm-hmm.
effect in real life, and it was really really well done.
Yeah, the sets are just beautiful.
Mhm.
So Mickey and Minnie's is one of my absolute favorite rides. And then I don't remember exact order, but we'll just talk about the other rides that we went on. We'll save Galaxy's Edge for last. And I'll let
Tower of
Malik.
Terror.
Yes, so we did Tower of Terror, which I had never been on Tower of Terror before. He had obviously never been on it, but I have been on the Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout in Disneyland, which is literally just Tower of Terror. It's just Guardians of the Galaxy-ified. Um, but I'd never been on Tower of Terror. So the difference between those rides are that when you get into the Tower of Terror ride, your card, like the card that you're on, like moves around a little bit, and you're kind of going through like a hallway and stuff like inside of the Tower of Terror, and there's like a set in front of you, and then the cart slots into the drop tower, and then you do the drop tower. But in Mission Breakout, you just get straight into the drop tower. And then there's like screens and stuff and music playing inside of the drop tower for Mission Breakout. But for the Twilight of Tower of Terror, when you're in the drop tower, there's no music, there's nothing going on. It's just the drop tower. So in that aspect, I thought that Tower of Terror was kind of boring compared to Mission Breakout, just because it's a little bit more like lively when you do Mission Breakout. But I did like the fact that the car moved around and you saw a little bit of like the scenery and like really iconic like Tower of Terror like iconography and stuff inside the ride. So I liked that aspect. But how did you feel about it?
No, I agree. I like the kind of the ye old Twilight Zone aspect of it. The decor was really cool. Yeah, the drops being random was really cool.
Yeah, every time you go on the tower, the
Spoiler alert.
drops are randomized, so it's not the same ride.
Yeah, so that was really cool. And also, I mean, probably one of the best places for the cast members to work is you're indoors. It was nice and cool and air conditioned.
Yeah, it was fun. I don't think I hate Tower of Terror or anything. I just think compared to Mission Breakout's a little bit more I don't want to say interactive because you're not doing anything, you're just sitting there, but there's like more stuff happening. But I definitely, when we go back in October, I'm gonna do Tower of Terror probably more than once because I do love it. We also did Toy Story Mania,
Oh yeah.
which is another trackless ride, and it's like a shooting game, but basically you're in a little cart, it's a trackless ride, so you don't really know where you're going to end up. And it's two people per car. And then you have like a little thing in front of you and you hold on to it. It's like a little shooting gun kind of thing, but you pull a string, it's like a ball with a string on it. And you pull it, and then you get put into like screens in front of you put in front of screens, and then it's calibrated so when you pull the string, like your gun or whatever, it's a gun, is shooting like rings or it shoots balls, and then every screen has different like objectives. So one of it's like a ring toss kind of thing, so you're pulling the string and then the virtual rings will get tossed over different things, and then there's little balls you shoot, and then every screen has different like characters and stuff from Toy Story on it and stuff. But it's very fun. It's super interactive, obviously, because you're like shooting stuff. But I love it. It's kind of crazy. It's why it's called Toy Story Mania, but it's really fun. It's one of my favorite rides. And we did it once, but it's definitely a ride that I would want to do multiple times. Um and I loved it. I was excited to do that again because they have that at Disneyland as well. But I was hyping this one up to you as well. And I think that was one of your favorites, wasn't it?
Yeah, just because I mean, it's a if you blink and you miss it kind of a ride. You had to be keyed in, paying
Mhm.
attention, looking all over the place, and like you said, there's a ton of stuff going on. It's very interactive, so it was pretty wild.
Yeah, it's super fun. Did we do anything else outside of Batu? I don't think we did. We wanted to do Rock and Roller Coaster, but the wait was like too long, and
Yeah,
we didn't want to
it
lightning
was like
lane it
far
because
away.
it's like at the back of the park. Um, and if we did lightning lane, like it would have just been too late, so we didn't do it. But we did go to Batu. Obviously, we went to Batu many times. So like I said, I've been to Galaxy's Edge before. So I obviously my expectations were met. The difference between the Galaxy's Edge in Florida and California is that the Florida one is just spread out more. Some of the placement of things is slightly different, and it's just a little bit larger, but it's just as amazing. So I'm gonna let Malik talk about his experience because he this was his first time ever going to it before, and I just want to hear your thoughts.
I mean, I said before and I said again, very well done. I mean, the whole thing, I mean, extremely immersive. There's, cables and light poles with LEDs on them, and even little Coke stands where like a droid pulled up with pop stands, and the pop bottles were kind of shaped like the grenades that Mando uses and stuff like that. The cast members were walking around, they had their kind of like Batu outfits on, and then the buildings were extremely impressive. I mean, they were big buildings. We walked in. One of the first things we did do is we went through a little bazaar, which was amazing and
Yeah, the
huge.
little shops and stuff.
Yeah, but we were hungry, so we went to the Ronto wrap place.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna interrupt you. The Ronto wrap at Galaxy's Edge is literally one of the greatest food things that Disney has. It's so good. Like if you don't really care about Star Wars, but you're like in Hollywood Studios and you want something to eat, the freaking Ronto wrap is so good. And the line wasn't very long because it's in Galaxy's Edge. So you have to like kind of go out of the way to get one. But yeah, if you go to Hollywood Studios, you have to get a Ronto wrap, and you have to get the blue milk,
Mhm.
the blue milk and the green milk. But we'll talk about that in a second. So sorry, didn't mean to
Yeah,
interrupt.
so yeah, the food itself was really really good, but the building just was massive. I mean, it was like this huge tall ceiling and had the droid spinning the roasted Ronto over the furnace, and I mean just extremely well done. I mean the attention to detail, even just
Yeah.
walking around the kind of the fake landscape they set up for the environment is something else I really noticed is they try to cover the other parts of the park so it really feels like you're in Batu. And looking around, there's like red rocks and the spires and everything sticking up everywhere, and it's all red and kind of earth tones. Then at night, I noticed the lighting was really cool, and they actually changed. They even changed the rock colors to be
Mhm.
like blue and green. So again, the attention to detail was very awesome. You said it was more spread out than Disneyland. I haven't been to Disneyland, but I like it being spread out because I don't like running into people. That isn't
It's
obvious for me
not
talking
it's
about.
not like claustrophobic or anything when you go to Disneyland, and there's still plenty of room to walk around, but it was definitely like the sections were just a little bit larger, I think. Like just a bit. And then like again I said, like the placement of things was like slightly different. So I don't think either one was like better than the other. They're basically the same thing.
Okay.
But they look exactly the same. All the stuff is the same. It's just like it's like a little bit more spread out
Yeah.
in Florida.
Yeah. But then, I mean, even there was the Kylo Ren's ship. There was a Millennium Falcon. I mean, these are life size replicas. You can
Yeah.
walk around and they're all lit up. Then they had the stormtroopers walking around. We saw Kylo Ren come out and do his little show. We saw Mando really briefly once.
Yeah.
I think the only thing I wish they would have had is more characters like you said they do have in Disneyland. That would have been cool. They had the
Yeah.
space for it.
And we saw Chewbacca. We saw
Oh yeah,
Chewbacca,
we did
and we
see
saw
him.
Rey, and then there's like a kind of like a Batu exclusive character. Her name is V. So we saw her as well. She's like it take the Batu is in the era of like Rey and Kylo Ren in the First Order and stuff. So it's like there's like a resistance area like nearby. That's like what the lore is or whatever. But yeah, the one show that we saw with Kylo Ren, they do multiple different things. So that's not the only thing that they do. And then they have like First Order officers walking around. They have the stormtroopers. But yeah, Disneyland has way more characters. They have like all kinds of things. I don't think we saw. Did we see R2D2? No, we didn't see R2D2, but he is there. But yeah, it was so cool. And then I'm gonna let you talk about there's two rides in Galaxy's Edge. The one is the Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, which is literally a flight simulator where you get to pilot the Millennium Falcon, and depending on which seat you're in, you're either the pilot. There's two per job. There's pilot, gunners, and engineers. And so when we went on this, I made sure, and I didn't even have to fight because we were first in the line in our group, but we were the pilots. So I made sure he's a pilot because the pilot's the best part. The other parts of the ride are not, they're fun, but they're not as fun as being the pilot. So pro tip, when you go on it, you'll be in a group of 6 people. If you're in a group of they'll let you go on, I think, if you have at least like 4 people. Although my friend did end up on the ride by herself one time, which is very strange, and she just said it was hilarious. But if you're in the group, you want to be like in the first row in the group, so you'll get paired up. You want to be like the first pair because that pair will be the pilot. But you can always ask the cast member if you can be the pilot. But how did you like it? Because I went on it twice when I was in Disneyland because it was so much fun. And I had been the pilot before, but again, did it live up to your expectations? Because I've been hyping all this stuff up for like years.
No, it definitely met my expectations. And as far as the pilot's concerned, I mean, you're literally like, up and left and right and all that. And I remember something, I think you found it online or something, people would like overcorrect and they would like crash and stuff. So the whole time I was like really focused and I'm like,
yeah, and
little baby adjustments.
Depending on what you do, like the character in the ride, like on the screen will like be like, oh, you went too far left, or oh, you need to pull the ship up and stuff. Like it literally is calibrated to how the guests are playing in the ride, which is really cool. It's not just like set. Like it's not like you're not actually controlling it. You literally are controlling it. So every single time you do the ride, you get a different outcome basically because of who's on the ride with you.
Yeah. So that was super cool. Again, very interactive. It wasn't just like you're sitting on a ride watching stuff go by it, but nothing wrong with that. But it was very, choose your own adventure.
Yeah. And then when you're waiting inside to get into like one of the flight simulator bays, because I think they have like 2 or 3 of them in there, you're literally inside the Millennium Falcon. So they always kind of rush you in here. So when I went to Disneyland, I got like one picture of me sitting at the little bench, like in the Millennium Falcon, and they have that the little where they have like the little virtual game that the chess that they're playing. They have like that little section you can sit at. So I have like one picture from Disneyland. It's literally my favorite picture from Disneyland. But my friend took it like super quick, and we were about to take a photo, and then the guy's like, okay, this team needs to come up, and I'm like, damn it. So they could do kind of rush you in that area, but when we go again, I'll make sure that you get a picture in there because it's super fun. But yeah, you're literally in the Millennium Falcon, and it's super fun. I love that. And then the other ride is literally my favorite ride, probably at all of the Disney parks, is Rise of the Resistance. And I have been hyping this freaking ride up to Malik for years. So when I went to Disneyland, so I never looked up anything about this ride And this ride had open. I mean, the two's been open for maybe what, like 10 years now.
Yeah.
I think it's been open for about at least 10 years it's been open. I had never looked up anything about Rise of the Resistance because I did not want to be spoiled. I looked up stuff about the Millennium Falcon ride because I was like, how does this work? So I knew about that ride. But I didn't look up a single thing about Rise of the Resistance. All I was told it was that this is the greatest ride you will ever be on. So the ride is trackless as well, which is super cool. But I'm going to let Malik explain the whole thing because it is an experience. And this is a ride that people will wait like 3 hours to go on. Now, I personally do not want to wait more than 45 minutes for a ride. Maybe an hour because things happen, but I will really not wait more than an hour for a ride. But people will wait for like 5 hours for this ride. So I'm just going to let him talk and go through the whole experience of this ride. I will interrupt as I feel, but as I do. But go through the entirety of this ride because this is not just a ride, it's an experience. And I know I sound weird saying that, but it is an experience.
Mhm. I will say, I mean, roller coasters and non roller coasters aside in their own categories, best like non roller coaster type ride I've ever been on, and I think probably like will ever be on potentially. The whole experience, like she said, it feels like you're in a movie. And again, damn it, Disney, they keep getting me. They did it so damn well.
It's so well done.
Yeah, I mean, from the part I mean, in the queue, it's like you're walking through like the starships and everything, and then you're kind of being,
Well, explain the story.
the story is like, we're a bunch of like rebels who got captured,
Yeah, so
by the
you
Empire.
you get on. There's a little pre-show. You get on a little shuttle, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna take you to the Resistance base or whatever," and then you get hijacked by the First Order. And there's like the little room that you're in is literally like you're inside of a spaceship, and you're watching out the window of the ship of what's going on. And Admiral Akbar is there, and there's Poe, and then there's a little pre-show with like Ray and BB-8 and stuff. And then talk about when you get taken by the First Order because this is the best part of the whole ride.
This is I mean, one of the best parts. Like, it's just crazy. Is whenever you're, escorted off of the ship that you've been hijacked on by the First Order, you walk out, and it's like you're on a Star Destroyer when they have the whole kind of big frame of the window. You're looking out to space. It's moving by. Then there's life size,
Rows and rows.
yeah, rows and rows and rows, probably 50 per clump of stormtroopers there, waiting for you. And some of them, they're even, they're robotic, but they're like heads are moving and stuff. Then there's a life size TIE fighter right there. I mean, it is,
Droids and
yeah,
all kinds of things. And
officers.
yeah, there's so that whole section. We were in there for probably 5 minutes just taking pictures, and they don't care if you take pictures in there because once you leave that room, you basically get like sectioned off into like who's going to be on your like car and stuff. So they don't really care if you are in there for that long. So we took a bunch of pictures, we were talking to the people, and the cast members in this ride are literally acting like they're like actors basically. They're acting as First Order officers. So
Gotta
they're
be the
kind of
best
like,
job.
yeah, they're kind of like mean to you, not inappropriately or where you're gonna cry or anything, but they're kind of like mean. They treat you like you're a prisoner. Like
Mhm.
it's fun. Like I know it sounds weird, but like it's so fun.
It's
So,
part of the bit.
yeah. So
It,
keep.
yeah, and again, just part of the immersion too, because I think whenever they got us into the next part, we're partitioned off. They're like, "Oh, this group of prisoners over here, and this rebel scum over here," because they're like lining you up where you'll sit on the cart whenever you go into the next section. So we were in there for a while, and again, I mean, it looks like you're right in the hallway
Mhm.
of a Star Destroyer. I mean, the walls and like the light panels, how they look in the movies. I mean, it's there in person. It's crazy. Then you get into a little chute where they're gonna put you on the cart, and then
Yeah, you get like sent into like a jail cell, and then well, you can go on.
yeah. And then you're busted out by the resistance, breaking you out. And apparently the folks who busted us out were just kind of like, okay, guys, are here to rescue you. Blah, blah, blah. But apparently,
Sometimes
according to you guys,
they're
some guys
yeah,
are super into it. They'll
yeah,
like jump in and we're like, we're the resistance. We're here to rescue you. And like super excited. But
yeah.
that's going along with the storyline. So you're being put in the cell, but the Star Destroyer has been infiltrated by the resistance to rescue you.
Yeah. So then the cart is a trackless car. It seats like I think 6 people, so there's 3 rows. But you're basically in like a little cart, and that's being powered and moved by like a resistance droid, and the whole ride, and we don't want to spoil it, but the whole ride you're basically going through the Star Destroyer on this little car, and they're trying to get you out of the Star Destroyer, and so you encounter Kylo Ren and different things, and the scenery and the set inside of the ride is literally like you're in the movie. And again, I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't been on it, but it is the coolest thing ever. If you were a Star Wars nerd like us, like it is literally the coolest ride ever. But yeah, how else did you think like the actual like ride part was?
Oh, it was super cool, and even just some of the effects. Like, I'm trying not to spoil it. There's other life size things in it that whenever you go into the bay, you're just like, oh my god. And there's you're being like shot at by lasers and stuff, and just the way they did the lighting, kind of
Mm-hmm.
going through the hallways like you're being shot after, was really well done and really cool. And they had like battle damage
Mm-hmm.
show up, and like holes in the wall were sizzling. It just
You
super
really feel like you're
super
in the
cool.
movie.
Yeah,
It's the
again,
coolest thing.
like God, the attention to freaking detail is again, very well done. I mean, even when you're rescued and you're getting off, now you're in the middle of nowhere on the resistance base, whatever. And even it was like the hull of like a crash ship or something. But
Yeah.
I mean, there was I liked sitting in there and looking around, because it was like you're on a jungle planet and there was like vines and ruins, hanging
Mm-hmm.
from this skeleton of this starship. It was crazy.
Yeah, it is the probably the most immersive thing at Disney, at least in our opinion. And it is just a fantastic ride. So, how overall, how would you rate your Batu experience and your Hollywood Studios experience? Because this is the first time you'd ever been there.
Oh, I mean, I loved it, definitely. Of the parks that we went to, it was my favorite.
Yeah.
Always little biased, Star Wars nerd. But again, even if I wasn't a Star Wars nerd, I feel like I could definitely appreciate Rise, because
Yeah.
again, just how well done that ride is, and then just how huge and how cool the area of Batu is. It was really really cool.
One last thing before we talk about Epcot and Magic Kingdom, the blue milk. So in the universe of Star Wars, there's blue milk, which is like bantha milk, and banthas are like these big sort of like they're kind of like oxen, kind of
Yak something, yeah.
yaks. And they have blue milk and green milk, and the blue milk is just indescribable. And I have been hyping this up for years as well. And Malik, how did you like the blue milk?
Oh, it was really good. I thought it was really refreshing.
Yeah, it's
It's
so
like
good.
a kind of mild tropical
Mm-hmm.
smoothie.
And the green milk is very good as well.
Yeah.
But oh, and we also went to the Oga's Cantina,
Oh
which is
yes.
inside. So it's a little cantina, and that's where they have like the DJ robot. You have to make a reservation, or you can just walk up. But they have really cool drinks, and the food is super weird. Like you're sitting in the cantina, and you literally are completely immersed and surrounded by all the Star Wars stuff, and you really feel like you're in a cantina on another planet. And then the worker there, so you get kind of, you depending on how many people in your party, you'll get set at the same table with other people, which is fine. So the other people at our table asked our waiter if any celebrities had ever been in here, because it's very like, it's small, it's an enclosed area. And he's like, yeah, somebody's come in here all the time, they're allowed to stay like a little bit longer, and then they have like a special entrance that they go into. And they said that when Olivia Rodrigo was there, I think it was last year, she was at the exact same booth that we were sitting at, and she was sitting in the exact same seat that I was sitting in. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm sitting in the same seat Olivia Rodrigo was sitting in. So that like made my whole day. I know that's like stupid, but like I was very excited. But yeah, Ogo's Cantina was super cool. I'll definitely want to go back. The food options are kind of like little appetizers. They're weird. They're good, but they're just kind of like space food.
Kind of like bar food, little
It
snacks.
Yeah, but it's like it's presented very Star Warsy, and the drinks are really
The
good.
drinks were very good.
But yeah, we'll probably do Oga's Cantina again. The system of getting into Oga's Cantina, I won't go into it, but it was a shit show, and the couple of the workers were very rude. The waiter, the people inside were nice, but the people outside were kind of disrespectful. And then they made us wait even longer than when our reservation was, so it was a little rude. Anyway, we won't go into it. But that was like the only negative experience that we had at all of Disney. Well, Magic Kingdom was a little crazy. But yeah, overall, how would you rate Hollywood Studios out of like 5 stars?
I mean, probably 5 out of 5. I mean, it
Yeah.
as far as like the different parks, it had the most stuff I was interested in. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Well, I'm really glad that your Hollywood Studios experience lived up to your expectations. Next, we will talk about Epcot, and lastly, our Magic Kingdom experience. So the next day on Monday, we went to Epcot in the morning, and then we went to Magic Kingdom. And Epcot, you had never been to Epcot before. I had been to Epcot before, and my friend Megan, who we went with, Epcot is literally her favorite park. She used to be in the Disney College program, and she worked at Epcot, and so Epcot is her favorite. So I remembered it, but I just remember like liking the other parks more. And when we left Epcot, I was like, man, I think Epcot's my favorite. Epcot's kind of the shit. So Epcot, it's kind of like the world of tomorrow, kind of. And so they have the Epcot ball, which is called Spaceship Earth, and there's a ride in there, and we'll talk about that. They have Living with the Land, which is a ride that I was like, I don't want to go on this. And Megan's like, you have to go on Living with the Land. And it was really, really
It
cool.
was nice. Yeah.
We'll go into all those rides as well. They have a Finding Nemo ride, which we didn't go on this time. They have the little what is it called? It's the Way of Water with, no, the Way of Water is the Avatar movie.
Yeah.
I don't
The
remember what
Moana
the Moana
garden.
something of water. And
Yeah.
it's super cool. And then they have the World Showcase. They have other rides there too, but they have the World Showcase, which is around the lake. And you probably, if you know of Epcot, it's, so they have the Canada Pavilion. They have Canada, Mexico, Morocco, Japan, China, France, Italy, America,
Norway.
Norway. Is that all of them?
Is that it? Maybe.
They might have another one or two that we're missing. But when we were there, it was actually the Festival of the Arts, which is super cool. So they had like little special art vendors. They had special like food options, which we got.
That was awesome.
A couple food options. We got quite a lot of drink options. So every pavilion had different themed drinks and stuff and food for the festival, and then they also have their own restaurants and little kiosks and stuff. So we just participated in the Festival of Arts with like the food. We did a little paint by numbers thing. So you went up to like the lady, you got like a paint and it was labeled like 1 or 2 or whatever. And then you went to the wall and you would find on the wall number 5. And if your paint was number 5, then you would paint the little squares. And so they had like a bunch of those throughout the festival. And at the end, like it's basically like a crowdsourced painting by all the guests. And so you got like a little bookmark that what shows you what the painting was. And then they said that the paintings just end up going in storage, but I'm sure somebody on the internet will have like a picture of the painting that we participated in, because I would love to see the finished result.
Mhm.
And then the World Showcase is super cool. Some of the pavilions have rides. We did not get to go on the Ratatouille ride. It was just too much. It was just because we did the 2 parks per day. The Lightning Lane slots were like after we were gonna be already at Magic Kingdom, so we weren't able to do that. But we did. I think the first ride we did was Soaring Around the World, which is a ride that I had been on at Disneyland, and it's one of my favorite rides. You get put into like these seats, and it lifts you up into the air, and then you are sitting in front of like a giant screen, and it's like you are literally flying over different countries. So that's kind of where the pavilions and stuff come in, because you fly over like France and like a waterfall and Africa and like all these different places, and then you end up back at Epcot soaring over the Epcot ball at night and the fireworks are going. And I had hyped this one up. Me and Megan had hyped this one up to you as well. So what did you think of Soarin'?
It was really cool. It was very relaxing.
Yes.
It's not like you're not like flying around and stuff like that. You're just kind of like,
It's not intense.
yeah, just cruising coolly. It was nice and cool in there. Get some air conditioning, see some cool scenery.
Yeah, that ride is very, very fun. We also did Living with the Land, which when I had looked this up, and I don't remember ever doing this before, it looked really boring to me. And I told Megan, I was like, this looks boring. Like, we don't want to go on this. She's like, Bella, you have to go on this ride. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So basically, you're in like a little boat. It's like a boat ride. And it literally just takes you through these little scenes of, there's like a jungle scene and a desert scene and stuff with little like plants and little like, little critters and stuff like that. Kind of like you're in a museum. And then it takes you out into basically all these greenhouses, and all of the stuff in the greenhouses is literally what they use in the park. So they grow bananas and avocados and what other kind of things did they have in there? They had like,
Herbs and
yeah,
veggies.
like all kinds
At
of,
a fish farm.
they had fish, they had all kinds of plants. So all of that stuff is like used in the park. So they're growing their own stuff, and it was really cool just to see like the different plants and stuff. And then Megan was like, this is like a 5 minute, 10 minute ride that you can just sit down and like relax on. And it was really
It
nice.
was really nice. Very
I was like,
calming.
man,
Very zen.
I'm sorry I was like talking shit about living with the land. Like I'm all for this. Like this ride was cool. And they also have all these hidden Mickeys. So
Mhm.
if you know about Disney, they hide like the Mickey shape, like the Mickey head shape. They'll hide that like all over the parks. They had tons of hidden Mickeys. So we were just like pointing out the Mickeys and stuff. But living with the land is the shit. It was really cool. And then the Moana, I'm calling it the Way of Water. I know that's the Avatar movie, but it was something of water. And basically you walk through this whole like little kind of like a garden in a sense, but there are all these different water elements and they're all like motion censored. So if you like lifted your hand up and down, the water would move up and down, or if you like waved your hand, the water would like splash in the direction that your hand was splashing. And then there are all these cool like interactive water things that was super fun. And then the big thing in there is the statue of Tafiti
Yeah.
from the movie, and she's like life size, she's beautiful, and we got pictures, and that was really fun. I was really really looking forward to doing that, and that really blew my expectations away. We also did the Spaceship Earth, which is inside the Epcot ball. What did you think of Spaceship Earth? Because it's a very old ride. It's still the same from when they opened the park back in the day. I mean, obviously it's been, you know,
Refurbed and
refurbished
whatnot.
and
Yeah.
stuff, but it's not modernized at all. It's very classic Disney World. But how did you like that ride?
So it was cool. It was very retro. Just it's a slow ride. You're just going around again, just kind of seeing scenes, which were cool. Like had like animatronics and statues and dioramas
And it's
set up.
inside of the ball. So
Yeah.
like
So
when you
you could
go
tell.
up, yeah, you're kind of spiraling, and then at one point you're kind of like not all the way vertical, but it's a very steep incline, and then there's one part where you're going backwards and
Mhm.
you're like leaning back pretty far
And we could kind of see like the hex pattern
of the
of the
ball.
ball from the inside because it was sunny, so we could kind of
Yeah.
see the pattern. It was really neat.
It is a really cool ride.
Very retro.
Very retro, very very classic. They will never get rid of that ride. Like they can't. Then the other ride we went on was Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. So we did now as of like 2 days ago or whatever.
Yeah.
They changed this so you can now wait in line, and I think they have Lightning Lane for it. But at the time, it was virtual queue. So Megan like woke up in the morning and like joined the virtual queue and got us like a slot or whatever. Um, so we the wait time wasn't terrible because we had the virtual queue. I don't know what it is nowadays with the new thing, but if we go on it again, we'll just pay. It is worth the money to pay for the lightning lanes. I will say it's expensive, but like it's not horribly expensive, but like it's worth it to get the lightning lanes. Like we didn't need it at Animal Kingdom because we only went on like 2-3 rides there, so it wasn't a big deal. But when we go back, we will pay for lightning lane for each park because it is definitely necessary, unfortunately. So the wait wasn't terrible. The queue is really cool because you're like in like a Xandarian, which so Xandar is one of the planets in Guardians of the Galaxy. So the whole thing is like you're trying to visit Xandar or whatever. So you're in this like hub, this like little, I don't know, like building or whatever. I got just like a hub for like Xandar or whatever. And then I don't want to spoil the ride because I never looked up anything about this ride. The only thing I knew about this ride was that every time you go on it, you get like a different song. And some people like certain songs better than other songs. And so Megan was like really hoping that we would get one that wasn't slow because apparently there's like two songs that they play that are kind of slower, and people are like, this doesn't match the vibe. So our song was One Way or Another by is it Pat Benatar, I think.
So.
I think it's by Pat Benatar. I love her. So we got One Way or Another, and I was like, yes, because I love that song. It was super cool. But I don't want to like spoil any of it. But I will say that it is a roller coaster. It's like an indoor roller coaster. That the just like the set inside of it, you really felt like you were in like a little spaceship traveling around outside in like the galaxy. Like it was literally like it was so dark in there that you could only see like the set, and they had
Mm-hmm.
like little, it looked like little stars, and it really felt like you were like traveling around like in a little spaceship outside in space. Like it was super fun. It was super cool. I don't want to like ruin all of it, but like what did you think of it?
Yeah, I mean, I'll echo what you said about the sets. There's some parts where like you're spiraling around like planets and like the moon. It was so freaking cool. And again, not to spoil it, but as far as like the cool technology they utilized for an indoor roller coaster was like unexpected and
Mm-hmm.
awesome, and just added to the experience. And even though it is a roller coaster, there's cars ahead of and behind you. The way they utilize that technology, you kind of felt like you were by yourself in your cart, because you couldn't even really see the carts ahead of or behind you. So which was really cool because you had a whole wide field of view to see all the scenes
Yeah.
and everything, which I think added to like the immersion of being on the ride itself.
Yeah. It was super, super cool. It's probably my favorite ride at Epcot. Um, that might change when we see the Remy's Ratatouille adventure, which we couldn't go on. So sad because I love Ratatouille. That's like one of my favorite movies. But yeah, that was probably my favorite ride at Epcot. The pavilions at Epcot are super cool. We spent most of the time at the Italy pavilion because I'm Italian, and I had just been to Italy a few months ago, and so the Italy pavilion is modeled after Venice. So I was like walking around and being like, "That's this thing," and I went to there's like like the tower that they have at the Italy Pavilion is like a bell tower that like I went inside of in Venice. And then the building is modeled after a building that I saw in Venice. So and then there's like a little miniature version of this statue that's in Florence that I saw. It's not the same statue because the statue in Florence, the dude's fully naked. This one he's got a little fig leaf on, or no, he's got like a little wrap, like a
Yeah.
little wrap around his you know. But so I was like telling them, I was like, this is not accurate. But it was super cool. Like I love the pavilion, and then all of the workers or not the cast members, all the cast members at the pavilions are all exchange students from those countries. So I thought that was really, really
It was
cool.
really cool.
Yeah. So when we go back, we're definitely gonna try to get food and drinks and stuff from every pavilion. We got some stuff from Canada pavilion, Italy, Japan,
We're trying to,
China,
yeah, we were trying to take advantage of the
the
arts
festival.
festival food.
Yeah. I think those were the only pavilions we got stuff from. Mexico, we got some from
Yeah.
Mexico. So yeah, we're definitely gonna do the drinking around the world, which is the thing that people do. So basically, it's a challenge where you get a drink from every single pavilion. When we go, we will be sharing our drinks. Because if I drank 11 drinks, I'll be dead. So our goal is to do all the rides and get all that stuff done first, and then spend like the evening to do drinking around the world. But I loved Epcot. It was much better than I like remember it, and I know you loved it. That was one of, I think that was probably your second favorite park, right?
Yes, second favorite, and not by a whole margin. The
Yeah.
vibe, it was very, very chill, very relaxing. I mean, there's a lot of people, but it wasn't
It's
the kind of like
yeah.
hectic craziness like running around to rides. And there was really no like, I mean, apart from the Guardians ride, they're not really like thrill rides.
Yeah, it's definitely a more chill park, and I
It was
like it a
nice.
lot because you still get the Disney vibe because of rides and stuff, but it's definitely like it's more of like a chill aspect.
And then all the drink and food options. I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah. It's really cool, and I love all the pavilions. So we didn't really go into many of like the stores other than the Italy store because there were a couple of things that I wanted to buy. But when we go again, like we'll make sure to spend a lot of time in all the pavilions. But we were obviously doing like 2 parks per day, so we didn't have a lot of time. So then after we did Epcot, we loved Epcot. Epcot, we love you. Then we went over to Magic Kingdom. Now Magic Kingdom is obviously the biggest park there. So the day that we went to Magic Kingdom was the day after the Super Bowl. So in the morning, I think around like noon, and we had already planned to do Magic Kingdom second. So we kind of lucked out in this sense. But in the morning around noon, they had a parade with the MVP of the Super Bowl, of the Eagles. We don't watch sports. I think I've mentioned this many times on this podcast that I don't like sports. I don't give a shit about sports, so I don't even know who these people are. But apparently, at noon, they had a parade with the MVP, which is cool, you know. And then he was doing interviews, and so when we went to Magic Kingdom, there was this little area where he was doing interviews, and there were all these people. And I took some pictures and videos because Megan's boyfriend likes sports and stuff. So I took some pictures and stuff of the dude, but he was doing interviews, so we're probably like in the background of some of his interviews. Um, so that was a thing, and then Magic Kingdom is just so crowded.
It was crazy.
And we weren't even there during peak season. It was crazy. So we had our lightning lane. Our first lightning lane ride was for Haunted Mansion. Now, Haunted Mansion is one of my favorite rides. You had been on this before?
Again, from my trip,
When you were
21
like,
years
yeah, when you were a
ago,
baby.
it's one of the few things I remember. Haunted Mansion.
Haunted Mansion is so cool. When I was in Disneyland, so in Disneyland for like October through the New Year, they overhaul the ride and they change it to Nightmare Before Christmas. So I hadn't been on the actual OG Haunted Mansion ride in a long time, so I was really excited. Haunted Mansion, it's one of my favorite rides. We watched, and I had seen them before, but we just rewatched both of the Haunted Mansion movies. He likes the original one with Eddie Murphy. I think the new one is much better.
I like them both.
Why do you like the Eddie Murphy one? It's not good.
It's fun. Those zombies.
That part is cool, but the rest of the movie
awesome.
is not good. I don't know.
I like it. Zombies are awesome.
The zombies are cool, but they're not in the. I guess I don't know if they're in the ride, but whatever. Haunted Mansion is super cool. He's a Haunted Mansion girly now. Yeah, that's his ride. Then we had lightning lanes for Space Mountain and Pirates of the Caribbean. So basically, what ended up happening is those lightning lanes were like a couple hours like after that, because I had gotten, because we did lightning lanes for Epcot. So by the time we're booking the stuff for Magic Kingdom, the slots were like later in the day. So like, cool, we'll like walk around. So we were walking around. We go to like Tomorrowland. We go to, there's so many lands. I don't remember all of them. Wandering around, walking around stuff. I look at my app and it says your lightning lane has been removed. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm like, Megan, help me, because she goes to Disney all the time and I don't know what's happening. Basically, what happened was that we got kicked off of our lightning lane slot because the ride went down, which
it's some bullshit.
I understand that they're like, the ride's down, book something else, but I don't want to book something else. I want to go on Space Mountain. I booked that ride.
And the issue was it like auto booted you.
It auto booted us from from Space Mountain and Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
And we're like, what the hell is going on? So we got booted from both of them. So then we were like, we're trying to do it. In the meantime, we were in the area with Space Mountain. And so we decided to go on the People Mover.
The People Mover was awesome.
Which I had heard people being like, the People Mover is either like people love it or they hate it. Megan's like, People Mover's lit. We gotta go on People Mover. I'm like, cool. Megan says it's lit. Megan is the Disney queen of my inner circle. Whatever Megan says is probably true. So
and we were just amazing. We were just like hanging out, and that was the only thing open at the time.
Yeah. So basically, what ended up happening is that the internet had many theories. One said it was a gas line down. Someone said it was a power outage, which is weird because like, why would like the merch vendors be open for power outage? Whatever. Basically, I'm not even shitting you. More than half of the park was down for probably 5 hours. Well, almost the entire time we were there.
Yeah, like the whole evening.
So we couldn't go on Space Mountain. We didn't book for Tron because the Tron ride is like ridiculous to book. And we were like, we're just going to do it in October because like you can either like wait in line forever or you can like pay for the lightning lane. There's no like individual lightning lane, which basically if you purchase a lightning lane, you can pre-book rides. But some of the rides, in order to pre-book them, you have to pay for them it's like a specific cost for the lightning lane. But if you purchase a lightning lane pass, the majority of the rides are like you can just book them for free within your pass. So you're paying $20 for the lightning lane. That $20 covers 80% of the rides at the park. So Tron is one of those rides that if you want to skip the line, you have to pay specifically for Tron. It's not included in your things. Anyway, so I paid for Rise of the Resistance because I was like, I'm not waiting in this line because that line gets ridiculous. So I paid $20 per person for us to skip the line in a sense for Rise of the Resistance. So we didn't do that for Tron because we had paid for Rise. So we didn't get to go on the Tron ride. That was still open. The People Mover was open, and a couple other things were open. So we ended up just wandering around, kind of just looking at stuff. I was kind of disappointed, to be honest. And then rides started opening up. So we were in this one area. The Peter Pan ride opened up. We went on the Peter Pan ride. It was kind of lame, but it was open. Then we went on. Oh my god, we went on another ride before Pirates of the Caribbean.
Jungle Cruise.
We went on Jungle Cruise, which Malik had never been on Jungle Cruise. Me and Megan loved Jungle Cruise. It was so fun. And because he had a scooter, we basically got to go in like the Lightning Lane ride, a line. So some of the rides, depending on how the queue is, if you have a scooter, they will either let you go through in your scooter, or they will give you a wheelchair, or they will put you on into the Lightning Lane queue because it's a shorter queue, or they just have a disability line. So it kind of just depends on the ride. But for that, we got put in the Lightning Lane queue, and we waited maybe 2 minutes to get on, if even. We basically just walked straight onto the boat. Jungle Cruise was lit. And then I was like, man, I wanted to go on Pirates of the Caribbean. I was really wanting to go on Space Mountain because I had never been on it before. And have you ever been on it before?
Nope.
Yeah, so we were like, we wanted to go on it. Literally, they were like, we don't think it's going to open up tonight. Which is funny because there was an after hours party too.
Yeah.
I would have been like, this is bullshit. But by the time we left, all the rides opened up. It was annoying. Conveniently, they conveniently opened when the party started.
And they were trying to flush us out.
Yeah. Anyway, so Pirates of the Caribbean ended up coming back up. And I was like, y'all, I was like about to cry because like I wanted to go on it so bad. Pirates of the Caribbean, besides Haunted Mansion, those are like the most iconic rides.
Yeah.
At Magic Kingdom, and I was so disappointed. We got on it. I was like almost near tears because I was so excited. But yeah, our Magic Kingdom, we had fun. But our Magic Kingdom experience was lessened because of the power outages. And it was like by the time, like, if we could have just left and went back to like a different park because we had the park hopper, but by the time we got there, we would have only had like 2 hours, so it wasn't really worth like hopping back over to Epcot or anything. So we just stayed.
Yeah, how's that working out?
Yeah, it was fine. But Magic Kingdom, and we didn't go on every ride that we even wanted to go on, and also we didn't have enough time, and then we didn't even see every area of the park because it was so big and we just didn't have enough time. But I think Magic Kingdom might be my number 3. I think the amount of rides and the rides that they have, I think, are like some of the best, just because of how iconic they are and how many rides. But I think overall, with how crowded it is, and with the power outage or whatever notwithstanding, I just think with how crowded Magic Kingdom is, I just like Epcot and Hollywood Studios better.
Yeah, just Magic Kingdom. It had like a hectic.
A lot of kids.
Yeah, like
we don't have children, so
yeah, like the kids, but also the adults were not helping either. Like a hectic, manic kind of vibe.
Yeah, I feel like the clientele at the other parks was not as crazy, because like Magic Kingdom is like the park you take your kids to. Like if you're only gonna be there for like a day, you'll do Magic Kingdom. And so yeah, it was way more hectic. I just think that the people, like the customers, the guests were more rude there, especially with him being in a scooter. They were like he had to run over a bunch of them, and then some of the people were like yelling at him.
Bro like steps in front of me and he goes like, "Holy shit, slow down!" I'm like, "You stepped in front of me, man." I'm just scooting here.
but the scooter was nice. How would you rate your scooter experience?
10 out of 10.
Yeah,
saved my ass.
Yeah. But yeah, I like Magic Kingdom. I'm definitely gonna enjoy it more when we go again. But yeah, I don't know.
I think also, like the power outage, gas outage, whatever, notwithstanding, like if we had a whole day there and we ourselves weren't kind of like running between things, we wouldn't also kind of be like kind of on a tight schedule and then trying to navigate around other people who have a maybe a schedule or maybe just don't know what the hell's going on, which definitely felt like the vibe, which would have been me if it weren't for y'all.
Yeah, so overall, I loved our trip. I had so much fun. It
Yeah,
was it's
it was a
hectic. Yeah.
fantastic trip. It was a whirlwind of a trip, but fantastic trip. I
Yeah.
think we kicked ass for
Yeah.
2 freaking days at the park. I mean, at 4 parks. I mean,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, I definitely think we want more time at the
Yeah,
parks. But yeah, we're really excited to go back in October and spend more time at the parks, do more of the rides. Because yeah, a lot of the other rides like we just didn't do because we just didn't have time for them. I do want to make sure we do Piana's Bayou Adventure, which is the new Splash Mountain, which will be super fun. We'll do the Tron ride. We'll do Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. We'll do the Avatar rides and everything. So yeah,
gotta get there with me.
overall, fantastic experience. I would
Yeah,
rate the trip, with Megacon and everything, out of 10. I would probably give it like an 8 out of 10, just
yeah,
because there was some hiccups.
mm, yeah. I'd say it. Yeah, I mean, also, I mean, we lucked out. We had fantastic weather
Yeah.
the whole time. It didn't rain at all. Again, getting the tickets for MegaCon and everything went really smoothly. I mean, you guys had a plan at the parks. Went it was streamlined as hell.
Yeah, it was super fun. So yeah, our Disney trip, super fun. We're really excited to go back in October. So that's it for this episode. So as always, stay safe, stay classy, and we'll chat again with you soon. Goodbye.
Bye.